Hall. I'm Michael Breed. So excited that you could be joining me today. We love doing these positive town hall experiences to give you just a little bit of an idea of how you might be a little bit more positive in the things that you're doing in your life. What are the ways you can look at things to help you improve, to help your teams improve, etc. And when I say teams, obviously those are the individuals that you're working with, whatever it may be, and even family. Before we get started, a couple of little different things. We love hearing from you. We love being engaged with you. So this is what we want to try to do. I want you to reach out to us, leave a comment, leave a question, whatever it is. We're giving away some paraphernalia, if you want to call it that, positive town hall t-shirts. But the only way you can be part of our giveaway is make sure that you get a comment in there or get a question in there. At the end of the presentation, we'll take some of your questions and get to those. If you want to be a part of our giveaway, you've got to make sure you get in. So get those over to us. Just make sure that you get it into the comment section here on LinkedIn, and then we'll reach out to you. Okay. But thank you so much for joining. I got to tell you, it's such a privilege and an honor. And I am always grateful for my relationship with Morgan Franklin and Vaco. They are individuals and companies that are outside of the box and trying to figure out how we can all improve in all the things that we're doing. So a quick thank you to those two groups. Now, let me get to what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the pathway to improvement. What are the things that you need to do to become better at what you're doing? What are the things that your team needs to do to become better at what they're doing? And the importance of always looking forward instead of looking backward. I talk to my teams all the time about using the rear view mirror, but looking through the windshield. And that's really what I'm trying to do in my life, is use the rear view to kind of help me with what I've done and how I can get better. But my focus is always in a forward direction. Okay. All right. So let's talk about one of the most important things in improvement, and it starts with getting up. Now, what does getting up mean? We all get up every single day, but do you really get excited? Do you get up for what you're doing? Do you get motivated to embrace the new day, the new challenges that it offers, the opportunities that exist within what you're doing? In order for you to improve, this is the positive way to look at it. Don't just get up. Get up. Get looking forward to it. When you're getting prepared for your day, what are the things that you're excited about for the day? What are the things that you're looking forward to? And by the way, embrace those challenges, because those are the things that are going to help you improve. Now, the other part of improvement to me is always maintaining this idea of motion with direction. Everybody has direction in their day, but not everybody everybody has motion in their day, but not everybody has directed motion. You have to realize it's sort of the mini goals of a day. Where are you going? What are you doing? And not just how am I doing in my pursuit of having a great day or having an accomplished day, but also, is it getting me to my end game? What's the end game? What are you trying to be? What are you trying to grow? What are your teams trying to do in order for you to improve? You got to have motion with direction. One of the most important things that I think that you need to have to be successful and improve is this simple line: master the simple, reach for the complex. Master the simple and reach for the complex. When we're doing all the things that we're doing over here in my studios, we talk about this all the time. Block and tackle. Let's run the complicated plays once we can block and tackle. And once you master the simple and you reach for the complex becomes more simple. And as that starts to happen, you start to develop skills. And those skills allow you to take on more and more complicated things, which allow you to improve, allow your teams to improve. As you start to do this, go back to this time and time again. Master the simple, and then obviously reach for the complex. Another very important part of success, in my opinion, and improvement is this thing here. Get comfortable in uncomfortable environments. Get comfortable in uncomfortable environments. When I got my very first job as a head golf professional, I was asked the question by somebody, are you prepared? And the answer is, I'm as prepared as I want to be. I'm not as prepared as I'm going to be, but I'm as prepared as I want to be. And they said, what do you mean? And my belief is that when I take something that I am absolutely prepared for at that time, I'm over prepared for, I'm never going to be in an uncomfortable situation. And as a result, I can't really grow. The way we grow is putting ourselves in situations that are uncomfortable. When I was offered the job at Golf Channel to do on-course commentary, I was asked this question by the individual hiring me, and he said, have you ever done on-course commentary? My answer was yes. Now, I had never done it with a microphone in my hand or a camera in my face, but I have commented on golf shots and golf events my whole life. Was I prepared to put a microphone in there and have something that I was going to say go out across the country or the world? No, I wasn't. But I was ready for the opportunity. And so by saying yes to it, I was in an uncomfortable environment. I'm not going to lie. It would take me 5 minutes of what I would call pregame in order for me to feel like I was ready to do what I needed to do. And it was time and rehearsal and time. And eventually I got to a point where I was as comfortable as anybody standing in front of a camera. I didn't have to prepare for necessarily, a conversation of a caddy-player relationship or anything like that. That I could think on my feet, that I wouldn't panic, that time was actually not something that was moving fast, but in fact moving slowly. And the way that happens is by putting yourself in uncomfortable environments and getting comfortable doing it. One of the other things that I can tell you that's really important, and I do this with individuals that I know, I counsel them on how they could be more successful when they're making presentations or whatever it may be. And that's this: assemble a group, and in that group of 5 or 6 people, these are probably your friends. Everybody is going to get a topic that they're going to talk about, but nobody's going to know what that topic is. And each person's going to write down a topic. You're going to all gather. You're going to hand out the topics to each individual. It has to be something that you haven't written. And then you have 2 minutes to prepare. How do you prepare? How do you put this together? And I'm telling you, that is an uncomfortable environment. And what I see across the globe is very successful people are extremely comfortable in uncomfortable situations. Maybe it's a presentation that you're doing and this collapses. How are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? How are you going to make sure that you're creating a product that people are going to embrace? It's essential for you to realize that through those uncomfortable environments and being comfortable in them, that's how you grow. That's how you improve. And then the final thing is, in this, you have to be quitless. Now, this is a really important word to me. It's not in a dictionary. It's a word that I'm continuing to try to get into the dictionary. What does quitless mean? It simply means that you refuse to stop, that you continue on your journey. There will be all kinds of reasons why you can quit, and we're going to go through that in just a second. But if you have this mindset of there is nothing that will deter me from the direction that I am going in, then you will go where you want to go and you will enjoy the journey. I think there are so many people that could get consumed with where they want to get to that they don't embrace the journey. And what helps you embrace the journey, and the journey is really improvement. That's all the journey is. You start in one place, you have limited skills, you get to one place, you have acquired massive amounts of skill. Whatever you're doing and whatever job you have acquired massive amounts of skill. The way you do that is by being quitless. You do not let anything prevent you from getting to where you want to get to. Now, look, many of you have a lot of thoughts at this point, and I'm going to emphasize we want to give away a shirt to somebody here. We want you to interact with us. Here's the way you do it. Go into the comment section, give us a comment, give us a question, whatever it is, and that will enter you into our giveaways. And believe me, we're going to be doing this all year long so that you understand we want to hear from you. This is a presentation of a conversation of engagement. That's what we're doing. We want to hear from you. We want to banter back and forth. We want you to be a part of our positive town halls. So don't be embarrassed. Make sure you share this and make sure you share your thoughts. Maybe it's not a question. Maybe it's you know what, Michael, this is what I did at such and such a time, and it proved to be a great idea. Somebody's going to get a chance to learn from your involvement in this. So make sure that you're part of that. Again, get into the comment section and put that in there. We'll get to the questions at the latter part of the presentation here. Now, when we get to where we're talking about being quitless, what causes people to quit? I do a lot of motivational speaking during the course of a normal year, not a COVID year, but a normal year. And one of the things that I share with people is this. It takes nothing to learn how to quit. Anybody can quit at any time. What does it take to persevere? What are the skills? What is the mindset that it takes to persevere? And we all have this in us. We all have the ability to persevere. You have to find it within you. And as a leader, it's incumbent upon you to help your people that you're leading find it in them. Because it's very easy to quit. It's very hard to persevere. So what causes people to quit? Fatigue. A simple thing as fatigue. You know what? I'm tired. I've worked hard enough. I've done enough. I'm good. I'm at the end. I'll just, sunset this thing. That's one of my favorite terms. I'm going to sunset this and just kind of ride it out. Don't let yourself get fatigued. Don't let your team get fatigued. As a leader, come up with things that are going to keep their mind stimulated. And don't forget, as a leader, you lead yourself. You lead yourself. Don't let yourself get fatigued. Ask yourself a question. Are you fatigued with what you're doing? If the answer is yes, you're probably going to quit. If you don't want to quit, find out why you're fatigued. What is causing you to have that? And then change it. It's one of the things that really creates a problem. The other one is lack of desire. I just don't want it anymore. Now, these two are related, but they're not the same. Don't think they are the same. Desire is something that is a passion. Passion to me, well, I'll say it differently. When I was doing my show on Golf Channel, The Golf Fix, people would come up to me and they would ask me a simple question. Are you really like that away from television? Are you really that excited, that passionate about what you do? And the answer is, yeah. And they say, why? And my answer is always this. I get the chance to help people. People love to play golf. People that are watching golf on television love golf. People that are listening to my radio show, A New Breed of Golf, they love golf. If I can't be passionate about the gift of talking about a sport that has been so instrumental in my growth as a human being, my relationships that I have in my life, what am I doing? And ask yourself the question, are you passionate? Are you truly passionate about what you're doing? And if you're not, why? Where'd your passion go? What caused you to lose your passion? And then most importantly, what can you do to get it back? What are the things that you can do to get it back? Do you need to attend a conference or go and listen to something like this? Do you need somebody to stir it up? Maybe a book, which is another thing. Again, I go to this all the time. I'm all into positive performance and a positive mindset. And I read a lot of books on how to have a positive mindset. I follow a bunch of wonderful individuals that are keen in understanding how to have a positive mindset. And it enriches me every day. It enriches my soul. It enriches my family. It allows all of us to improve. And what I can tell you is that you probably have read some great books that I haven't. I want to hear about it. Put it in the comment section right now. Hey, Michael, I just read this book, one of my favorite books. You got to read it. I appreciate it. Make sure you do it. And we'll share it with everybody else. Everybody, you can see the comments. Come on, be a part of this, okay? Don't let your desire and your passion fall down. The next thing that causes people to quit is difficulty. And we hear this all the time. oh, this is just too hard. I'm not prepared to work this hard. I don't want to work this hard. And then they quit. Now, difficulty to me, and this is something that we hear in the game of golf. Why do people quit golf? Because it's too difficult. Well, let me tell you, the word challenging is the same as difficult. It's just coming at it from a positive mindset. I love to be challenged. I love to be asked a question I don't know the answer to. And I am very comfortable saying, you know what? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to know the answer to that. These challenging moments that you get yourself into are the things that keep you in what you're doing. Don't look at it like it's difficult. It is, but don't look at it that way. Look at it like it's challenging. This is going to be great. I'm going to learn how to strike a golf ball properly. I'm dyslexic. It's incredibly difficult for me to read, but I do it because I love it, because I learned something. And so it takes me a while to do it. It's incredibly challenging, but it is amazingly rewarding. And one of the things that I will tell you in your life, and you know this because you're reflecting on it now, and that is the things that in your life that have been really rewarding have been the things that have been the most challenging. There's no question about it. If it was easy, it's not something that is necessarily rewarding. Being a parent is a challenging thing. It's also the most rewarding thing that I am doing and am doing and have done in my life. I love it. It's not simple. It's challenging, but it is phenomenally rewarding. There is not that my favorite moment of my day. I was asked this question 2 nights ago by a very good friend. They asked me, what's the best part of your day? The best part of my day is when I go upstairs and I go into the bedroom of where my 2 boys are in the same bedroom. And what's cool about this is they both have separate bedrooms, but they choose to sleep together, which is awesome. They're 7 and 9. My favorite part of my day is when I go upstairs and I look at these 2 faces sleeping. It gives me chill bumps every single day. And it is the most rewarding thing in my life. And I am telling you, the most challenging is the most rewarding. Embrace it. Don't call it difficult. Call it challenging. Okay? The next reason why people quit stuff is they become impatient. And we see this all the time now. The individual that you're trying to help improve wants to be great tomorrow. They forget the journey. They just want the quest. Embrace that journey. Enjoy the time that it takes, the acquisition of skill, the patience required for you to become what you want to become. And it takes time. But impatience is one of the things that sends people sideways and goes, I'm not going to do it. And it's another reason why people walk away. And what I can tell you is that when you're forming your team and you're interviewing, ask them how they are with their patience levels. Because what you're going to find right there is you're going to find the people that can persevere. Patient people can persevere. Impatient people can't persevere. Impatient people will quit. This next one is a very interesting one, poor preparation. And poor preparation also is incomplete preparation or lack of preparation. I mean, we choose the word poor just because there's an alliteration with poor and preparation. But the truth of the matter is that you could put anything in there. An inability to be prepared for the moment. And the moment to me is always this. Life is not, can you hit fastballs? Life is, can you hit curveballs? And if you want to really improve, you have to hit curveballs. Players get to the major leagues by hitting curveballs. I've got a friend of mine who's a coach in the NFL. And I asked him a question about quarterbacks. How do you assess really talented quarterbacks? And he said, Michael, do you know that nearly 75% of all passes thrown by a quarterback are thrown off balance? They don't set with 2 feet underneath them, stride and deliver. They're in an imbalanced situation and they throw 3 out of 4 passes that a quarterback throws, they're off balance. Isn't that what life is all about? How many times are you off balance? The pathway to improvement is hitting the curveball. The curveballs, you go to the plate and you start looking for fastballs, you'll hit fastballs, you'll miss curveballs. You look curveballs, you'll hit curveballs and fastballs. You have to hit curveballs. And life to me is all about the curveball. If you prepare yourself absolutely thoroughly and you prepare your team absolutely and thoroughly, you will be able to hit the curveballs. And the curveballs in your life are the things that allow you to excel. The curveballs in your life are the things that allow you to improve. And the curveballs in your life are the things that give you confidence. I can handle that situation. Or on your team, they can handle that situation. They're so calm when things come unglued. That is the individual. I have a friend of mine, Ted Kegel, one of my closest friends. He's a martial artist. He's also a golf pro. And I was always so impressed and continue to be with his ability to slow things down when things are speeding up the most. He is very, very comfortable in uncomfortable situations, and he has a keen ability to hit curveballs. And as you start to do that, what you're going to find is you and your teams are going to improve. Poor preparation is the thing that creates really poor performance. This, to me, is the biggest reason why people quit. The excuse. Now, here's what I can tell you. We're going to get to another one that actually is the reason why or the major reason why people quit. But the excuse is like 1A. And you hear it all the time. I have heard so many reasons why somebody can't do something. And all it does is allow them to fall back on, I can't do that. You think about, and I look for them in my circle, I look for people who are giving me excuses. And then I try to, in my effort to try to help them improve, I try to remind them, okay, here's our deal. You can't give me any excuses. I don't want any excuses. Once you take an excuse away from somebody, now they're forced to figure out how to be successful. Now they're forced to figure out how to improve. I have a guy who worked for me who said this line, and I don't know whether it was his or something that he got from somebody else, but he said, of all of man's great inventions, the excuse is the worst. I live by that. I don't let excuses come into my life. I try not to have people in my life that fall back on the excuse. The excuse to me is the reason why you're not going to persevere. The excuse is the reason why you get comfortable quitting. Speaking of quitting, one last time, I want to remind you this. Engage with me. Send me a question. Send me a comment. I don't have the ability to see all that stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of comments and questions that are coming in, and we're going to get to some of them. But make sure that you know we need to hear from you. So your engagement is very important to us. Make sure you jump into the comments section, send those questions and comments along. Let me know what books that you might have read that have helped you, or some questions about or comments about what we're talking about today. This is an important part of our engagement, and an important part of being in the Positive Town space, okay? Don't let the excuses hold you back. Now, here's another thing, temptation. Temptation is a fascinating thing for me, and I'll tell you why. Once you get into being tempted, you will lose track of your direction. So I go back to this thing, motion with direction. Motion with direction is really important. And what I believe is that we all have motion. Some of us have directed motion and some of us don't. The way you have directed motion is you have a place where you want to get to. And you get on the road and you drive to that place. That is motion with direction. There are a lot of people that move like a bumblebee, where they're all over the place and it's haphazard. And they rarely, if ever, get to where they want to go because they have no idea where they want to go. And they don't know where they want to be. And for me, motion with direction is a simple thing. This is what I want to achieve, and I'm going to do the things that I need to do that are going to allow me to get to that spot. and I then go on my way. Now, what does temptation do? Temptation is the thing that comes along that says, hey, I know you're only making $50,000 here. If you come and do this with me, you can make $150,000. Now, that might not be something that you want to do, but the temptation of money will send you on a journey away from what you want to achieve, which is why you need to know what you want to do, which is why when you know what you want to do, now you'll continue the pursuit to improvement. You won't let the excuse, you won't let the lack of desire, the lack of preparation, all that other stuff that won't come into your life. And temptation cannot be a part of it. You have to refuse temptation. There will be people all the time that are going to say, you know what, you would be a great salesperson. You got to come in. You'd be phenomenal in my business. They're not looking after you. They're looking after them. You got to look after you. You've got to make sure that that's what you want to do. And if that is what you want to do, then you pursue that. But what I can tell you is, for the most part, temptation, that's sort of the grass is greener on the other side thing. Take temptation, put that thing on the side. Keep going on what you want to do, and you'll keep improving. Okay? Final thing, and I said this to you before about what I believe to be, as studied, the biggest reason why people quit, and it's poor leadership. Now, I go back to this other thing that I said to you before about leadership. You lead yourself, you're leading yourself, and you're leading teams. But you lead yourself. Ask yourself, are you leading yourself well, or are you doing a poor job leading yourself? And we could spend an entire hour just talking about self-leadership. What are the things that you're doing in your self-leadership? Remember, I told you that I like all these books, and I'm asking you, please share your favorite books on positive approaches, positive mindsets. I talk about John Maxwell, John Gordon, John Wooden all the time. I read all their stuff. I share it with friends of mine, people that I think I'm going to send a book. I got a good friend of mine, Andrew, sent me a book not long ago. I can tell you, first of all, it meant a lot, because here's somebody thinking of me, thinking, you know what, this is a book that I know Michael would like, and so I'm going to send it to him. But also, too, the idea that he's looking at a book and going, I got so much out of this book, and it made such a difference in my life. I want to help somebody else's life. That's what you're doing when you share books with me. Get in the comments, write those down, send them over. Everybody that didn't get a chance to see what I might have, or heard what I might have said, read what somebody else put in the comments. It's going to help other people. That's what Positive Town is all about. We're trying to help the whole community. That's what we want. And we want to grow Positive Town. There's no limit to landscape. There's no limit to real estate around here. Everybody can live here. So poor leadership. Here's what I can tell you. I've had a number of people tell me that they have worked for poor bosses and it caused them to quit. I too have been in situations where I've watched how people lead and haven't necessarily admired it, have questioned it. But what I did, rather than letting that deter me from the direction that I wanted to go in, what I did was I looked at it from a standpoint of, how would I lead differently? What are the things that I could do that could make being a part of working with me an engaging and a smart decision for somebody else? When I hire somebody to work with me, I always say to them, I'm interviewing you, but you need to interview me. You need to make sure that I'm the individual that you want to attach yourself to so that you can get to where you want to go. What I have found in my life is this. There are individuals that work for you, or maybe you yourself. This is how you are viewed, and this is how you view people. They're either underpaid or overpaid. It's as simple as that. You're either underpaid or overpaid. There's nobody that is paid absolutely what they're worth. You're underpaid or overpaid. And it's not the amount of money that you're making that means that you're underpaid or overpaid. What it is the value of the boss and how they see you. They either see you as somebody that is delivering something that is greater than the amount of money that they are paying you. And they go, man, this is a great employee. I need to give them a raise. The other is the underpaid, the overpaid one. And the overpaid one is the one going, you know what? This individual is not delivering for me. I'm paying them too much money. And that individual, if you're one of those people, and what I ask out of individuals that come and work for me is what I'm paying you fair? Do you feel like you're getting a fair dollar? And my response through my life has always been yes. And the reason why is because they know that I'm invested in them. And as I invest in them, as a leader, I'm also going to challenge them. I'm also going to adhere to all these things that I have put up here on this board to help them improve so that they can realize their dreams. Now, I know that you have dreams, and I know that you've shared some questions and some comments, so I'm going to ask my friend Greg if he could just share some of these questions, if you would.
One from John. I've been getting a lot of interviews, but fall into the trap of not being able to praise myself. How can I better prepare myself?
Okay, John, this is a fabulous question. I love this question. I've done a lot of presentations on interview skills. Now, here's one of the things that you have to do. You have to know your story. The reason why it's hard for you to praise yourself is because you don't know your story. So there are ways for you to praise yourself by not sounding arrogant or egotistical. In other words, somebody asks you a question and you go, yeah, you know what? There was this time, and this actually happened to me. There was this time where an individual came in the shop, was all upset because they lost their sunglasses and it was our fault. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to name the individual. Okay, give me 15 minutes and I'll figure this all out. And I went out and I looked through, he had thought that he left his sunglasses in a certain cart, but he actually put them in a different cart. And so we went out, we checked all the carts. I found the sunglasses. I came back in and I said, here you go. Here are your sunglasses. And then his response was, thank you so much. And thank you for being understanding of my situation. I'm sorry that I was, that I spoke to you the way that I spoke to you. And I said, listen, I get it. I understand it. Now, that will tell you something about me without me telling you, you know what, I'm really good when it comes to calming people down. I majored in it in college, actually. A lot of people were majoring in English. I was majoring in the art of calming people down. Look how well it worked out for me. That's not how I did that. What I do is I tell a story about how that works. John, if you want to praise yourself, know your stories. Write them down. When you prepare for an interview, make sure you know your stories. Where did you work? What did you do? What were the occurrences that took place? All these different things. And then when you go in there, the greatest leader of all time, in my opinion, the greatest leader of all time spoke in parables. And what I can tell you is learn from the greatest leader of all time and speak in parables, paint pictures, tell stories. And by doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to allow people to follow you. They're going to go, wow, I want that kind of person on my team, in my environment. And so know your story. Okay. Greg, we got any more?
One from Austin. What are your keys to being motivated through the highs and the lows?
So the keys to being motivated are as simple as where am I going? What am I doing? Am I growing every day? The lows, to me, I hate to say this, I don't have lows. I read a great book by John Maxwell, Failing Forward, The Importance of Failure. He also wrote a kid's book, which I read to my kids all the time. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And if you haven't gotten this book for your kids, I recommend you getting it, by John Maxwell. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. It's written for young kids, but I consider myself a young kid. Okay. And I read that book because I love that book, because the truth of the matter is that the lows are the times where you're learning. So to me, the lows, if you want to call them lows, they're not. They're opportunities for growth. And so the way I maintain that is all through how I look at something. I look at everything as opportunity. That's what it is. It's an opportunity to improve, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to develop another skill. That's how I see it. So I never let myself go to what I call negative town, which is why I'm the mayor of Positive Town, which is why you're in Positive Town Hall. Go ahead.
Last one here from Kayla. How do you decide if or when it's time to quit?
So I never think it's time to quit. What I will do is I'll reevaluate. So if I'm going down a certain path that I don't think is going to lead eventually to where I want to go, then I reevaluate. But I don't quit. I liken it to, I get on the highway on I-95 and there's a traffic accident and traffic is stopped. Now, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to reevaluate. How can I get to where I need to get to by a different way? So plug it in, get off the highway, go through all these back roads and do whatever. When you go through the back roads, what you end up finding is you start seeing some really cool things, and you start seeing a different part of what even might be in your norm. Your norm might be you drive 95 every single day. And then all of a sudden you have this accident. Now you jump off and now you're seeing new things. I think that the reevaluating is a critical part of improvement. I don't call it quitting, because it's not quitting. Quitting to me is, you know what? I'm playing the game of golf and I go, I've had enough. I quit. I can't, it's too hard. I don't love it anymore. I'm done. It doesn't happen to me. And it doesn't happen to me most typically because I did a lot of work trying to figure out what it is that enriches my soul. And then I go down that path. Okay. All right. I appreciate everybody getting involved. Love the comments. Love the questions. Keep them up. Make sure you look for us. We're doing this once a month, presenting different mindsets in Positive Town here. So make sure you look for our Positive Town halls that we have. Make sure you continue to engage with us, Morgan Franklin and Vaco. Make sure that you take some of what we talked about today and employ it. Share it with other people. I'm telling you, it will make a difference in your life, and it will make a difference in their life. I want to thank Morgan Franklin, thank Vaco. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share these thoughts, and realize it is an opportunity for me to be able to take information that I have gotten in my life through books or whatever it may be, individuals, and pass them along to you. And hopefully it helps you improve, never quit, and become the leader that you truly want to become. Okay. So thank you all so much for joining, and we'll see you next month.